of water and then I'll be back.
There you are. You've never been lonely.
So do you like listening to Smooth FM? Do you like listening to Smooth FM?
Oh yeah, I do. I do, especially in the car. Don't let me tell you
Okay.
that at home I do, but when I'm in the car, yeah, sure.
Okay, of course. Okay. We are. So it is. Hello. So it's Chibuike Ochiwa.
Yes,
Where are you from again?
Imo State.
Okay, no, you are working here.
Yes, I do.
And you.
Here as in Lagos. Or here as
You know,
in
in
Smooth
this
FM.
in this station.
No, I don't work
Okay,
here.
you represent.
I'm a legal practitioner.
Oh, illegal.
Where's my water? Okay. I'll wait. Thank you. Concierge. Future forward banking.
Hey guys, my name is Rachel Kerr, and let me tell you about my Lagos. There's nowhere on this earth that
Okay,
compares.
so
From mainland to island to the roadside suya, there's nothing like that. And of course, the sweltering heat from morning till evening. Now in my Lagos, nothing compares to the weddings. Nothing compares to our parties. But one thing I will say is there's nothing like reaching your land of Lagos.
where is this woman?
My Lagos, your Lagos.
Jump.
Okonkwo and his family worked very hard to plant a new farm. But it was like beginning life anew, like learning to become left-handed in old age.
In the world of books and literature, Smooth 98.1 presents to you the very best of African authors. I'm a storyteller. I was also African stories and perspectives.
Well, how
with a
does
mix of
allocate sing?
prose and poetry,
What's that?
Except it's a license they are granting.
and reality.
No, they are granting what they call temporary.
And that's what I'm saying. Whatever is temporary, except it's a license. It's a license that has a minimum number of years
You know what?
to be used.
You ready?
I told you to bring this in now.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I did. I asked you twice, and you said you agreed.
What's the first story?
As I'm not ready. Specifically said you should bring this in. Oh. Are we streaming? Are we streaming? Ah.
What's her name?
Shopper Martins. Shopper Martins.
Shopper Martins.
Chokwe.
Shopper.
Chokwe.
Kaide, we're coming in.
All right. Oh. Smooth 98.1, love music, love life. It's time for Lagos Talks 981. Today we've got a special, and we're going to be having, well, we have two very special guests with us in the studio today to lead us through our conversations. So if you're out there and you want to be a part of our talk, well, you have the opportunity to do that. Just call the number 0144899981, or better yet, you can send us a WhatsApp message. You can send the messages to 0809 4440981. Today we're discussing, or rather we're asking the question, what happened to Lagos coastal roads? And to join us in the conversation in the studio this morning, we have guests, like I mentioned. We have Adaku Chibuike Ochua. She's a real estate legal advisory senior partner at Priceless Chamber with over a decade of experience in handling real estate matters. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Kennedy. It's
Good.
nice to be here.
Good to have you here. Also with us in the studio this morning, we have Mr. Olorogun James Ematayo. He's the president, Lekki Estates Residents and Stakeholders Association. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, Kayode, good morning, and the name is James Emadoye. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming to join us on the show today, sir. Like we mentioned, we're talking all about Lagos coastal roads, and we would love for you to be a part of that conversation. If you live along the Lekki axis as well, and you have a part of a few things you want to add to our conversation, feel free to do that. Like I mentioned, it's 0144899981.
We are also streaming live up on youtube.com/smooth981FM Lagos. Make sure you send your comments in up on that platform as well, because this is about Lagos Talks. We want to get your thoughts, your opinions on this as well. Now, okay, so talking about the Lagos coastal road. Now, we first were privy to this news when we heard about the government demolishing shanties and illegal structures on the coastal road. This was August last year, 2021. Okay, and we seem to have had one saga after another on this, with residents coming out to say that the coastal road is being eroded by new developments, and asking the state government what is going on. So first of all, Ms. Chibuike Ochoa, would love to get your take on this, a holistic take from the legal perspective, as to from the start in August to where we are now with protests happening from the residents.
Okay, so with respect to the Lekki Coastal Road and all that, and the different protests happening and the news out there. Okay, so one of the things we know is that the Lagos State government said that it's part of the right of way, it's part of its master plan, and therefore anyone building on it is encroaching. It's definitely encroaching on the right of way. Okay, that whoever is building on it is encroaching on the right of way, which was what led to the task force demolishing most of the properties that were on it. Now, it's according to the Lagos property protection laws, where a place, where a property, where a land, where a property, a land, that's a mass land, whether it's 1 acre, whether it's a plot or something, belongs to the government. No one has a right to sell or even construct or build on that property, because it is known as a government acquisition.
Okay.
And most times when you have properties, when you have land known as government acquisition, especially when it is committed, it shows that those lands are for specific purposes. And except those specific purposes for which it has been earmarked is used, except they use it for those specific purposes, any other thing that rises on that structure becomes an illegal construction, becomes an illegal invasion, encroachment of the property. So this is why I'm certain that there was those demolition and everything that has happened. Now, the government building the road between after the demolition and all that, for the government to begin to build the road is another discussion.
Okay.
So now
because we have to remember that this coastal road was supposed to be was supposed to come in to alleviate traffic that would come up from the deep sea ports, the refinery, the airports that were all planned for that access, and with residents of Lekki saying that there's already traffic There's already a lot of it. We need an alternative route,
Exactly.
and we need something that will have many lanes so that we can all get home and have a good quality of life.
Exactly. It's still the same thing. As long as with what Lagos has said so far, they have not deviated from it. What Lagos is saying is that it's part of the master plan. So, in essence, anyone who is constructing on it or anyone who is building upon it, it's only wasting resources or making wrong real estate investment choices.
But so far, the Commissioner for Information and Strategy, that's Mr. Benga Motosho, he said that the government had allowed, temporary structures on the land to prevent miscreants, occupying such situation. What do you make of that?
Now, if the government has allowed temporary people to stay there temporarily,
Yes.
that means it has to be a license.
Okay.
It cannot be an allocation. That a licensee does not have the same rights as people who were allocated the land. A licensee has just that means the right of a licensee can be extinguished as quickly as it was given. So they don't enjoy the rights of a tenant or even an owner that they need a lot of notice before they are removed there. So except that is what he's saying, that licenses were granted for people to use for a period of time to avoid miscreants, giving them time for them to build the road, then that's a different case.
Now, Mr. Imadeyu, as the president of the Lekki Estates Residents and Stakeholders Association, your life and the lives of your neighbors has been directly affected by what is going on. So I know that there have been protests from the residents within that area regarding this this issue and the encroachment of the road. What would you say about this, especially with the government's stance, saying that this is temporary?
Thank you very much, Shokwe. The truth of the matter is we have been engaging with the government, and it's sad that we are experiencing this sort of situation at the moment, because the reason for having the association to represent the interests of those who are in Lekki is to ensure that things like this don't actually arise. Now, when you say that the road is being given out as a temporary allocation, it means that you do not have the interest or the desire to construct the road as soon as possible. And this is one of the promises that the governor gave to us during the electionary campaign in 2019, that he was going to construct the coastal road. So if you now start allocating it out temporarily for people, and we can see the sort of investment those so-called temporary people are putting on the ground, it will become a challenge in future. More so, if the future is the future that he is no longer government, then you would have created a problem for future government. And we do not believe that the road should be allocated out to people to use temporarily with the sort of investment we are seeing on it.
Now, you have said that you have your own, that you have proposed your own solutions. What would that be?
You see, they were talking about miscreant as the reason for allocating the roads out to temporary users. Unfortunately, the area that they started allocating were the area that we were already taking care of. Yes.
Okay.
The area that they started allocating out were the area that organized estate were already taken care of. So there were no miscreants in those areas. They didn't go to the area where there are miscreants. They haven't gone further to look at the area that illegal structure has even come up.
Could you be
and they just came to areas where estate had already invested money to build road, where estate are investing money yearly to ensure that the area is kept neat. That is the problem. The problem is if they intend to say, oh, what they want to do is to keep miscreant away, go further the road, and you will see that further the road, people have even built in some other areas of the road. Not only that, we must come to terms with what happened last 2 years when they started building the regional road. We were on daily basis in between government fighting on how to reclaim that right of way back. So why will you cost this now? Because the moment you allocate it out, you may say it's temporary. And then the moment you have done it, people will start building and investing on the road. The new government tomorrow will now have the problem.
Because in some of these areas, the road, when I hear temporary structures, I'm seeing estates where parts of the road, where some of the lanes of the road should have been. I speak in past tense because I'm not quite sure how temporary those estates can be.
Well, we don't see them as temporary, like I told you.
Mm.
The amount of investment on it is what will tell you whether they are temporary or not.
Okay.
When somebody is investing in the region of 50 million, you know the cost of building these days. How temporary can that be? Then we are asking ourselves, if you allow these people to invest this so much, it means that you are not interested in constructing the road so soon. Then look at, I want to draw your attention to what has happened in Apapa. Only the seaport in Apapa caused the major problem in the Apapa road. And that is an area where you have two entrances. You can go into Apapa from Ijora or you go from Maitu. But all the investment you are talking of in the Eleko area, the free trade zone, the Dangote refinery, and all that, the only road we have currently is the Lekki Ekpe Expressway.
So I understand that the residents of the Lake Ekpe Expressway have reached out to the Lagos House of Representatives. However, though, before you respond to that, let's go on a quick break. Don't forget, if you're out there and you want to, be a part of our talk this morning, please send your messages to 0809 or better yet, just call the studio lines 0144899981.
Okay, so we're going to open up the phone line so that people can engage with you.
No problem.
Okay. Some other things that I forgot to say. If I do this, it means round up because we're.
I got it.
Yeah, and then this means time out. We're done. No more time. All right, to our YouTube viewers, hello, good morning. Do make sure you send your messages in so that we can also respond to any of your questions, your conversation, your input as well. We'd love to hear from you. Okay. So we will be coming back in. This is kind of interesting. Kelly, did we have something for legal stocks?
We have,
Did we have something for legal stocks?
we used to have,
Because I'm seeing Providence.
no, we don't have anything as far as,
Then where is? Did you receive an email yesterday?
no, haven't checked though.
Smooth 98.1. You are tuned in to Smooth Breakfast with Kaide Baker.
And Shopper Martins.
Right now, at 27 minutes gone past 8 o'clock, we are deep in the middle of Lagos Talks, where we have got two guests in the studio with us to talk about the Lagos Coastal Road erosion, what is going on here, and the new developments. And we also have you talking. Now, of course, in the studio with us is Olorogun James Emadoye, who's the president of the Lekki Estates Residents and Stakeholders Association. And we have Adaku Chibuke Ochua, who's a real estate legal advisory and senior partner at the Priceless Chamber with over a decade of experience in handling real estate matters. So you're giving us that legal perspective, holistic, no less, legal perspective, which is always great to have. And Mr. Emadoye, you are giving us the eye on the ground, what's
Yes.
going on and what the residents have to say about that. And of course, we'll be chiming in with what the government has to say, and we'd love to get your take on this as well. So call us up on 0144 and send your WhatsApp messages in to 0809 444
So, Mr. Laragon, before the break, we were talking about how the residents of Lekki had reached out to the Lagos Assembly, talking about the demarcation amongst other things. And, so the Lagos State government had said that they had, demolished some shanties. And, they were also working on some of the kiosks around that area to demolish them amongst other things. But the question here is this. You being a resident, how far how seriously have you taken this? I mean, they've come out to say that they've done some work in this regard, but you live there. I mean, you've seen what's going on. So how far is what can you say has been done so far?
Well, on the coastal road, nothing has been done so far. The only thing they have done, which we are saying no, it shouldn't be, is allocating it to people for temporary usage. And we are saying no, this road is very, very important to Lagos. It's very, very important to Nigeria, and it should not be allocated out for temporary usage. Let us look at ways that we can commence the construction very soon. More so that all the activities at the Lekki Free Trade Zone are built to commence operation between now and 2024. So let us start and think of how we can start the construction.
Now let's go to the phone lines and see what you have to say. Hello, good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning. What's your name and your location? And of course, we'd love to get your thoughts.
All right, Ibuku.
Okay,
Go
go
on.
ahead. Okay. Mm-hmm. This road should have been completed. Okay. Mm,
Exactly.
mm. Okay. I forgot you can't hear him. I'm talking to our YouTube viewers.
All right. Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
I think one thing that we need to know is that this coastal road is a road that has been conceptualized for over 65 years ago. And it is not only ending in Lagos here. It's supposed to run through Lagos to Cocoa Delta State and then run like that
Mm,
and link even the western coast. And now, this is an important road by all means and by all standards in terms of the development of this country. And of course, Lagos is the virtually the only mega city we have in this country. And so I don't know why government, is doing this. You did talk about whether we have approached the Lagos State House of Assembly. Yes, we have approached them, and we believe that they are looking into our matter. And we actually appealing to the government that we should not cause problem for future government, right? We don't know when their own tenure will end. It may be the next 6 years, It may be the next 1 or 2 years. But if they are unable to fulfill the promises, that is, I'm talking to the governor now, if he's unable to fulfill the promises that he gave us, that he was going to construct this road, then we are saying, please do not leave hanging problem for future government.
Yeah, okay, so I want to also add something to what they all said. So it's not just about leaving a problem for future governments, it's about the fact that are the allocations valid?
Okay.
Because before you would even create a right of way, a master plan, and all that, you must have even collected lands from people. You have revoked their title and said, okay, this way we are using those lands to create a right of way.
I'm glad that you brought this up because, of course, this is this news that's coming out the protest as well is giving us shades of what happened in
Exactly.
Magodo. So, what is
Exactly.
the long-term ramifications of this?
Exactly. The long term implication of this is that where you have taken lands, where you have earmarked private lands, where you have earmarked lands for public use, for overriding public interest, you cannot turn back and start allocating those same lands to private individuals who are erecting permanent structures. Because if tomorrow you say, okay, in the next 10 years, I want to start building the coastal road, especially where the Lekki Seaport and everything is in full activation, it becomes very difficult for you to break down those structures. And what the law says is that you cannot allocate properties, lands that you have earmarked for overriding public use to private individuals. It is not done. Where it is done and where you no longer want to build the coastal roads, where you no longer want to build those right of way, those lands go back to the original people who had those lands. So when they are talking about miscreants and all that, whether it be Omonile or the likes, the fact is that as long as that road is being earmarked as coastal road, Lekki coastal road,
Okay.
it is not in the hands of the government or in the hands of individuals to use that property for personal use or erect structures on it. You'll be creating issues, future issues, that people's investment, hard earned investment, are all going to go down in shambles.
And that might not take 4
It's
decades in the
as
making.
in,
Might take
it's not
shorter.
going to be funny. As in, you're going to be creating worse than the riot or the protest that is currently coming on.
All right. Thank you very much for that. We see our phone lines buzzing. Let's see who this is. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Oh, looks like we don't have anyone on that line. Let's try another one. Remember, call us up 0144899981.
Hello, good morning.
Ah,
Hi,
good morning. What's your name and your location? All right, Okpayami from VI, share your thoughts with us on this, the coastal road. What do you say? Hmm. All right.
Mm.
The way the roads are in Lagos, they even want to start building on it. It's unheard of. You should never allow that.
All right, then. Thank you so much for your call and sharing your thoughts with us. Let's take another call.
Hello, good morning. Good morning. What's your name, please? Hi, Peter.
Okay, Peter from Anthony.
We take a lot of
This
things
is
for
Pastor
granted.
This
You
is Pastor
know.
Dakwa.
And government
Yenisi.
has this,
Oh, okay.
can have this
Exactly.
contract agreement between Nigeria and some foreign countries. And when another government came in, they didn't want to. In fact, I think it was this president. They didn't want to, you know, go by all the
One of the agreements.
guidelines of the contract. And those people took them, you know, and they were going to collect a lot of money. I think they had to settle the thing out of court. And for granted, we don't project into the future. You think everything is here and now, you know.
Studio.
It's not a matter.
All right then. All right, thank you
Thank
so
you so
much
much.
for sharing your thoughts. Of course, the number to dial is 0144899981. And of course, you can send your WhatsApp messages in to 0809 440
Here's a message from Azuka from Yella. He says, I've checked online and can't find the design and routes for these roads. May the government, maybe the government make it easier for reference. Okay. So he's saying he can't find any master plan designs or anything in general for the routes. We have more messages though. I think Joseph and Lecky sent in one earlier, but you know what? Let's get on a quick break. When we get back, we'll do some more talking.
Future forward banking.
Okay, now I need to check my messages. I'm quite confused about this. Did Hope send a message in?
So there's been protests along that way.
Yeah, we didn't call it protest. We felt that we we shouldn't be protesting at this stage. We just call it word press.
Okay, 9:45.
Okay.
You understand?
How long was
9:45
it
to
for?
10 a.m.
About 1 hour.
Okay.
Something has to do.
We have 9:45 to 10.
Maybe I think you should highlight this that you just mentioned now. I don't want to call it a protest now because you say it's not a protest.
No,
How we draw it.
That's what it was reported as.
Yeah, because that's what it was.
Okay, it's a protest, eh?
Yes. It was reported as a protest.
Like, I think individuals have a right to protest as long as it's civil.
Okay, we're back in
And also,
41 minutes gone past that 8 o'clock hour. We are getting towards the end of Lagos Talks here on Smooth Breakfast with Kaide Baker.
and Shopware Martins.
In
And
this- yes.
sorry, we're talking about Lagos Coastal Roads. If
Mhm.
you're wondering what the conversation is about, so Lagos Coastal Roads basically, and that's why we have a very special guest in the studio leading us through the conversation. So we have a few more minutes to wrap up this side of the show.
Now, the Lagos Coastal Road was originally supposed to be 6 lanes. Am I correct? Or I think.
Like I told you, the Lagos State Coastal Road is just the end of the coastal road here. The coastal road actually runs through several states to
Yes,
Delta and
yes,
all
you
that.
said.
And it's an important, road by all means. And what we are saying is government should not play politics with it. It should be constructed to make life easier, to bring more benefit even to the government of Lagos State. When that road is constructed, it will bring and improve a lot of things in Lagos. And so, temporary allocation or whatever form of allocation should not be encouraged. And that is the reason we are saying, don't do this. Let's do the right things. And
Now,
let's
you said that this has been 60 years in the.
65 years
65 years
plan.
in the
Yes,
promissory.
yes.
Mm.
So it's something that just have to be done. And we say that with all the activities that God has blessed Lagos with on the free trade zone area, I mean, any meaningful person will know that, this road should be constructed to buttress and to help those activities.
Now, of course, that's words coming from Olorugun James Emadue, who's the president of Lekki Estates Residents and Stakeholders Association. And also in the studio is Adaku Chibuike Ochoa, who's a real estate legal advisory and senior partner at the Priceless Chamber. And now you, before we went on the break, you were talking about the long-term implications of what our present situation. Did you want to add more on that?
Yes, what I wanted to add, in line with what he has said, is that The government holds the land in trust for the people of Nigeria. They are not meant to have a prerogative on their own to divert such rights or such trustee rights for their own personal interests. It's not meant to coincide.
Okay.
Actually, now this reminds me. Seeing as this, you talked about this being a road that crosses states. Where does federal government come in on this? Because I know that we have in Lagos, we have roads that are the purview of the state government, and we have roads that are the purview of the federal government, especially roads that cross states. So, does this have any implication? I mean, does this have anything to do with that?
Well, I think you have just hit another matter entirely, and that is the problem that we have in Nigeria. You know, the Nigerian constitution is something that you lawyers will need to go and look at more. You know, recently, Lagos State actually won the case on the electoral, whatever they call it, you know, and that is what has given that coastal line back to Lagos. Otherwise, it's supposed to be a federal business.
Okay,
But
that's
since
interesting.
that case went to the court and the Lagos State won, it has now become the property of Lagos State. But of course, the federal government cannot fold its hand in terms of the construction and the linkage between the states, because then those ones, they must get involved. But this is all the quagmire in our constitution. You know, there is too much power at the center, the federal. And so these are the reasons that people are calling for what do you call it, constitutional conference. You know, let us sit down and realign and think of how we lead this country better. And until we do that, we are actually not going to get the necessary development that we want. Now, we are faced with this part on the Lagos end. Lekki is in Lagos, and so we are not bothered, and we know that the right of this road is under, just like she has said, the Lagos State is holding it in trust for the people of Lagos and for the people of Nigeria. And so they should do justice to it, not to do things that would bring pecuniary benefit either to individuals or to anybody.
That was actually quite a wonderful statement and a wonderful reminder that they are holding it in trust for the people, because it affects the people, it benefits the people, and it disadvantages the people depending on what route you take.
Exactly.
We've got your messages in, and I would like to say thank you for all your contributions on the phone lines and on WhatsApp. I remember Ibukun saying that, talking about how an alternative route is supposed to be provided before a tolled route comes into effect. Now, I think it's the same Ibukun from Ikeja who has sent in a message saying, we have seen the crisis in Magodo where the government has allocated and acquired for public purpose to private individuals. So why do they want to recreate the problem?
That's actually an unfortunate thing that happened in Magodo. You know, when you saw what happened, you would have thought that, what is happening here? You know, but by the time you get to the detail of the fact that government took those land from me and you on the pretense that it's going to be used for public interest, and later on turn around to allocate it to people, right? Not only that, why would a government be going to a court to appeal a case against its citizens? I mean that the governor is like our father in the state. So if the government is oppressing me and I decided to go to court and I won a case in court, the governor will now appeal against that case. I mean, it's funny.
The government might actually have a right to appeal such decisions, but where the issue is that executing the judgment of a Supreme Court. So in essence, the matter has gotten
to the
final stage. So you cannot go back to that same Supreme Court and
can't
ask them to
appeal the
stay
Supreme, yes.
the judgment or something. You're asking them to turn back their hands on the judgment they have already given. So, but long and short, it's still going to emanate. And this is just one out of so many. And it's
Okay.
good that people are speaking out. Because I remember, was it last year, a client was interested in purchasing a particular property around Lekki Shores, and we wanted to. He was purchasing it from an estate. So normally, what I always advise clients is that they carry out their due diligence before making such purchases. And in the event of carrying out a due diligence, we saw that that land was committed. Okay, so a government acquisition, a land under government acquisition, can either be committed or ratifiable.
Okay.
So if it's committed, that means they're saying that we collected it for overriding public purpose. That means
Understood.
we collected it to either build a school, build a
Hospital.
Something in the
hospital,
public interest.
something in the public interest. However, right now, individual estates are beginning to sell their land, and it was allocated to them by the government. Now, tomorrow, if the family from which that's the family owning
From which it was collected.
from which it was collected rises against the government that you collected this property
public interest.
for public interest, that revocation automatically becomes invalid. So
My
it is
goodness.
exactly, so it is necessary that the government understands that the same reason why the Land Use Act was enacted, to protect the citizens, to protect the land, to protect the land administration, it's going to be in a quagmire if they do not act as they ought to act, which is as trustees of this land for the people of Nigeria and not for their personal interest. Because whether you like it or not, even when you are in office, you won't be there forever. It's just for a period. And when you're out, you're going to still dine and sit with these same people, which you should have done something, as in, done something for the public interest.
Speaking of being in office, I mean, there's going to be another administration in a few more months, but we also understand that there's been some type of protests from the residents at Lekki. So, would you say that these protests have generated some reaction? And if they have, how has the government responded to this?
Well, we are waiting for government response. Being in office, I think she has made an important point there. Everybody that is in an office at a particular time should know that that seat is in trust for the people. And like I always say, when you go to your office as a commissioner, as a governor, as a police commissioner, go to your conference room and look around the room. You will see that there are pictures of several people that have been on that seat. And it's just by God providence that you are there. And do not take that power into your head. It is that power does not belong to you. That power belongs to that seat that you are sitting.
Government is a continuum.
It's a continuum, and somebody else will be on that seat tomorrow. And what we are saying in Lesser, Lekki Estate Resident and Stakeholders Association, is do not cause problem. If you can't develop the road as you have promised, do not cause problem for future government in developing it.
All right, we're going to take one more message up on WhatsApp, well, a couple more messages up on WhatsApp. Then we'll come to you for your final thoughts, because we have come to the end of the show. Azuka from Yaba says, I have checked online and I can't find the design and route for these roads. May the government please make it easier for reference. Whilst Joseph from Lekki says, Joseph from Badore says, the Lekki residents have failed to sensitize the masses on their actions. Therefore, currently in a big man problem, he says, because they don't know why it affects them. He goes on to say, it's instructive that there's hardly a mention of this issue on social media. So some solutions that Joseph proffers says you should begin a publicity campaign. Okay, they're in the studio. In every affected town, what are the benefits? What are the roadblocks? Who are those responsible for reallocating the road? Also says, get everyone involved and warn all state and federal reps that they'll be kicked out of office if they fail to get definitive results from government. And he goes on to say, get your sons and daughters who are on Instagram to take up this campaign as well. And thank you so much for your messages up on WhatsApp. And we've come towards the end. So what would you like to leave people with?
Well, I would like to speak directly to our governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, to listen to the voice of the people. When Baba Tinubu was the governor of Lagos State, when we had issues, he listened to us. Fashola listened to us. Even Ambode set up a committee to review the master plan of Lekki with about 7 commissioners and a number of peers with us. there is no reason why we supported you, we voted for you, you promised us the coastal road, you promised us the regional road. When you started it, we wrote to thank you that you have started the regional road. Why would the coastal road be now a subject of discussion because it is being allocated out as a temporary whatever to people? How much are they going to pay? Of what benefit is it? Don't let us create problem for future government. If you cannot construct it, leave it. The resident will try as much as we can to protect it. Let your people supervise the road and ensure that there are no illegal allocation. Nobody should give CFO or allocation for that road. Let's leave the road so that future government will be able to construct it for us. Thank you, Mr. Governor.
All right, and that was Olorogun James Emade, and of course, your thoughts, your final thoughts.
Okay, so for me, my final thoughts are that the government is the governor of each state. Now, I'm talking about the government generally in every state in Nigeria, is a trustee holding the lands for the people of Nigeria. In essence, we should, while we're in power, while we're in service, we should do the needful to ensure that there are no future repercussions. And we already know there are Supreme Court judgments that has talked about revoking one's title and reallocating it to other people. It's a time bomb that is going to explode someday if this continues. We shouldn't just look at the now, the immediate gratification, but we should look at the future of Lagos State and the future of Nigeria. Thank
All right,
you.
and that was Ada Kuchibuike Ochoa, who's a senior partner at Priceless Chamber and has weighed in with her more than a decade of experience in handling real estate matters. Thank you so much for your words and for
Thank
giving us
you.
something to, really think about. Thank you both for joining us and making this such an interesting Lagos talks. And Lagos, of course, not just talking but action. It's up to you. Get your voices heard and make sure that the things that benefit you are supposed to benefit you. On that note, we will see you around. Coming up 9 o'clock, it will be the locker room.
Thank you,
Thank
Shokpe and
you.
Kayode.
All right. Thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
sir.
Thank you.
for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for
Yes.